Welcome, everyone, to an episode of the Definitive Crusade. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and joining me across the pond this week, we have the returning Random Dude Josh and the ever-present Matthew.
Hello.
There we go. We are, how nerdy do we feel? We are ladyless. What is that about?
It has been a while since we've
It's been the dudes, the boys.
Or
A big mission with the boys.
As they say in the UK, lads. So there you go. Lads. And also, for the first time in ages, we're not talking about anyone dying. Yay!
Yay!
Thank God for that. All right. Okay. So we have 4 books to run the rule over. If those were few listeners who were around last time, you know full well that Josh was unfortunately not available to podcast. And you know the rules. If you're not here, you get a book chosen for you. Ho hum. Well, Josh, sir.
Johnny, sir.
Sir.
Night, sir.
Oh,
look, I didn't want to be included. Okay,
night to King's Rook 7.
Yep.
Yeah. and the water star. All right, okay. Where are we up to? So, Josh, this is your book, my friend, and I picked it for you. So it is Batman Fortress #1. Da, da, da. So let me give you the lowdown before we get into the nitty gritty. Written by Gary Whitta, art by Derek, yes, that Derek of the Boys fame, Robertson, colors by Diego Rodriguez, and letters by Simon Boland, who you may recognize from having done shed loads of work over at Dynamite and other indie publishers. There you go. Cool. Take it away, Josh.
All right. So, okay. Johnny, when you told me this was going to be my book, I was unsure if it was a punishment or a pass.
Oh, really? I've read this book.
A couple of reasons. So, the world is, for whatever reason, without power. Not sure why. Superman, we don't know where he's at. And so it's up to Batman to kind of figure what's going on. Now, the thing with this book, it is a lot of reading. A lot of reading.
Who's that?
I will give credit. The lettering in this is absolutely spot on.
Yeah. That's Simon Boland all over, isn't it? He is one of those. I want to say up and coming, but he isn't. Not to people who've been following comics for a while. He might be up and coming to DC, but he's been around a few years now.
Yeah. He does a great job with this. I thought the artwork was actually pretty good, considering this is wall-to-wall color. For it being very dark within the world, the color sure pops in this. All in all, it wasn't a bad read. And I say that
just a long read.
There was a lot of reading. The one moment that I really appreciated the most was the conversation between Batman and Commissioner Gordon, specifically Batman asking Jim if he's okay.
Oh,
and it really shows the level of friendship that they have, and the fact that even Jim recognizes that, saying, you're the only person who's asked me that. What are friends for?
Well, as close as friends as they can get between,
when one of them is wearing a mask.
All things considered. But that moment really stood out. The one thing that was kind of weird, and it's on this panel right here, where's the rest of Batman's body?
Yeah, his
If
leg
he's all big and
disappeared.
bulky. His arm is here. There's nothing in the background. I realize it's probably his leg kicking out because he's about to jump.
Yeah, there should be a little foot
But
there.
or
He's trying to be a bat. He's flapping his
one
wings.
oh, jeez.
I'm Batman.
Where's my sonar?
I can't.
We missed
I
it.
can't even. But yeah, moving along.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna die now.
See, we've made his allergies kick in. Excellent.
Hey!
Yay.
I mean, it really was not a bad read. This is definitely setting the stage for the rest of the story, so I can't completely pass total judgment on if it's good or bad, because I need to read more, and where this is just issue number 1. You know, we gotta stick with it. So,
all right, that's an interesting take. Matthew, what was your thoughts on this book?
Keep it on this page, or just immediately change it. That's fine too. No.
Oh,
this scene in particular bothered me because all these people just got released from Arkham, and you know, the very first thing that Penguin, who I've always, you know, been led to believe is one of the more, not really civil, but civilized villains.
refined.
Gets released out of prison and just immediately finds some random woman and starts drowning her. I don't know. It may fit the character. It may just be me, but for me, it doesn't seem right that they chose to pick Cobblepot for that one. Now, it was kind of funny, you know, the sea shanty that he's singing while he's drowning her. That's kind of like, haha, yeah, farewell and adieu, Spanish ladies.
Wait, I'm sorry. How was that again? One more time. Okay.
Got to get it recorded for your soundboard.
No, that'll be your text message tone when you.
Oh yes, even better.
Can mine be lads now then, please?
Yes,
lads.
But my biggest issue was just that it was just a lot of text. I agree with Josh. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible read. It was just a lot of wordage to go through. The scene where this Joker-esque character here, he's like, but screw it, let's just cap one for fun. And then Batman demolishes them. You know, I give it a solid 5 out of 10.
It's Gotham.
It's a read. And it definitely sets the stage up for what's coming. Because as we saw near the end of the book, you know, there's some kind of extraterrestrial power that shut down all the power all over the world. Communications are all down. Clark is missing. Just something's happening, and it's helping set the stage for that. And so, will we see it in the next issue of what's going on? Who knows? It may just be more setup. It may do like a where's Clark now kind of thing. So
harsh. All right. Okay. So,
but true.
Yeah. Well, yes. All right. So here we go. Let's get to the nitty-gritty on this then, right? So the story begins. We've got a power outage. Arkham inmates have ran amok and are now busting out of Gotham like nobody's business. And there's an alien invasion all in one night. Come on.
So much things.
It's like, come on, really? All of that in one night? Oh, what is this? Is this an Arkham game? No. So there's just too much going on. Matthew, you want to jump in?
I forgot to mention the biggest thing that bothered me, and it's the scene where him and Jim Gordon are talking. If you want to go over to that scene real quick. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. The chin. The mighty chin has made its reappearance. Just
right here.
The giant butt chin. Yeah, the giant butt chin. Just super emphasized. It threw me off. If you ever watched what was the show? Timmy Turner. Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents, there's a character in there named the Crimson Chin, who his whole thing is that his chin is so large and powerful. And that's just what it reminded me of.
Cool. Thank you.
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet now.
Okay. Where's that mute button? Right. So for me, story-wise, this is...
It's on my end. I can do it.
Hey,
so anyways, as I was saying earlier.
So yeah, this is a hard pass for me. There's just too many coincidences going on. My other question would be, does anybody miss Alfred?
Alfred was in there. Yeah.
I know he's in there. I'm saying, does anybody miss him now that he's been, 86'd by Tom King? Does anyone miss him? No, you don't miss him because he's in every other Bat book. That's why you don't miss him. It's like the dude's dead. Move on.
Yep.
And you've got Commissioner Gordon as Commissioner Police Chief, which he hasn't been around for since he got infected by the Batman Who Laughed. So this is obviously a retro story or a story out of continuity. And if that's the case, I don't care about it. I really don't care. I don't know what's going on with publishers that make them think that people want to read out of sync stories all the time. It's like, come on already. The art by Derek Robertson, he's a superstar. Yet the book here, the art, as you said, Matthew, he's got big chins going on. It just, for me, it reminds me of Paul Galausi's work, which, by the way, I prefer. So if you're Paul Galausi, go back, look at Prey from the Dark Legends of the Dark Knight, circa issue, I'm going to say it's something like 11 through 15. I take a guess on that one. The colors look great, as Josh mentioned. For me, this is just another Cash Bat book. Instead of Cash Cow, Cash Bat. That's what happens.
Isn't that most of the Bat books are now?
Well, no, because we've got one that's absolutely killing it right now, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. But for me, this is like there's no ramifications to it. There's nothing going on. The dialogue about it's just stupid dialogue like, well, how many radios did you have to break? Well, every radio comes from a car, so does that answer your question? Well, no, it doesn't, because you asked how many, not where. Hello, Commissioner. This is why you can't work out that Bruce Wayne's Batman, because you don't listen to shit going on.
This is why you're dumb.
It's like, what? Stuff like this annoys me. It's like, what we having for tea? Well, we've got pizza in the freezer. Right, we having pizza? No, we're having spaghetti. Right, so there's another question. Answer it. How hard is that? See, I have to do this. Because Freyja's not here. So, Freyja, if you listen back to this show, I'm doing this for you, girl. Yes, I am.
The reason I pointed out the chin was because I was like, I have to keep something for Freyja for each different one. And Freyja definitely pointed that out.
The butt cheek, the butt chin.
The butt chin.
But for me, no, I'm like, nah. Stuff like this, no go. No, it's just, as I said, too much going on. I get there's no power. Great, that's a story in itself. Arkham breaking out. Well, I've seen that in Batman 400. I've seen it in Batman where 490 something, where they start the whole breaking of the Bat. We've seen it recently. We've seen it recently on A-Day, where the Joker released the gas in Arkham, which burned down Arkham that built the tower. So what makes you think, DC, I want to see another story where inmates from Arkham bust out?
I'm surprised Arkham is still functioning from how often it gets broken out of. any normal asylum or prison, if it had a breakout every other week, I don't think they'd be open very much.
There's an oxymoron. Normal asylum.
Right. Lol.
Oh, bless. Sorry.
No,
all right.
it's
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. It's fine. All right. Whew.
Just remember to breathe.
Catch your breath, because this next one's going to be
just zen.
All right. Okay. Let's hit it. So this next one up is Freyja's choice. Freyja, you know the rules. You made us read this. Just saying. All right. It is DC versus Vamps. This is the Hunters one shot, and behind this, can we say a very red cover? We have the writing of Matthew Rosenberg, art by Neil. I want to say Googe. Googe. I've typed my notes. It says Google. Obviously, my autocorrectors work there. Well done. I wonder if that's how he gets work. Colors, Antonio Fabella, and letters by. Help me out. Who's the letters? I've got. It's someone called Mayers. Let me check. Let me check my notes.
Hold on.
Sorry.
What?
Can't be John Boy Mayers.
Letters by Troy Peteri.
Is it?
Troy Peteri.
You know what? I
Hold on.
think,
Let me bring the book up my side.
yeah, I've got it. I've got it up. It's right here.
Letters by Troy
Here,
Peteri.
I'll even zoom in.
It is Troy Peteri.
And then
Excellent.
we'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, there
Cool.
you go. Boom.
All right. Brilliant. My correct is on full whack for that. All right. So this is Freyja's choice. Matthew, you can start us off on this one then.
First thing I have to say about this one is that I love the DC versus Vampire series. Absolutely killing it. Literally and figuratively killing it.
In
But
a good way or bad way.
The thing that gets me about this book in particular is just the change in the illustrator, the artist. Neil Googe was the lead illustrator for this. I believe for the main series, it's Otto Schmidt, if I remember correctly.
You do indeed remember correctly, sir. Well
Fantastic.
Well done.
Hey, maybe if I keep this up, I'll actually win a Jeopardy. Who knows?
Nope.
it's a no.
Just saying.
You got me. But okay, I guess I should start how I always do. The story follows Damian Robin after he has been turned. If you have been reading the issues in the last issue, DC versus Vampires number 6, at the very end of it, the big bad, the Lord of Vampires, was revealed to be Dick Grayson. I know,
Richard, you are such a dick.
But he ended up killing Bruce. He literally ripped out his heart. Killed
Bruce
Jason
had a heart?
Todd. Yeah.
Who'd have
Killed
thunk,
Jason
right?
Todd. And ended up turning Damien into a vampire. And this story follows Damien, as we see, and it's him hunting down the Martian Manhunter at the very beginning. And then we see later on that it's a ruse. He's not actually hunting him, but it turns out Damien is trying to save the non-vampire heroes, or what little they are left. And he is fighting back against his vampirism by drinking pig's blood or other alternatives rather than hunting humans down, because he is on a mission to save humanity rather than having them, be turned into vampires like Dick Grayson wants. And he's doing this purely out of spite, which I highly respect. He's like, you can. Later in the book, Damien's like, what? Or Dick's like, why are you doing this? He's like, you killed my father. He was a father to me too. No, he wasn't. And so he's doing it purely out of spite, which I highly respect. And it's following his story. It's not as good as the regular DC vs. Vampires, just from the change in artwork, which the artwork isn't bad. It's in my personal opinion, it's not bad. I don't like how they did Martian Manhunter, like in this one panel right here, where his chin is super pronounced and his mouth is.
Have you got a thing about chins? Is this like a thing?
Look. The thing about chins is that they're really hard to get right. If you do them too shallow or too long, it's very pronounced in a comic, and it makes your characters not look human.
Well, he's not human.
The title of this episode, Revenge of the Butt Chin.
Yes.
He's not human for a start. He's a Martian. So there you go.
Well, I know. That's what I was going to say. If he may be a Martian, that's why his chin is messed up. Who knows?
Hey, Johnny, just imagine the Earth gets invaded, and the aliens that invade the Earth all have butt chins. Matthew's going to lose his shit.
At least we all have places where to park our bikes.
Men in Black 2. Men in Black 2, the ball and chinians, the world's just going to be overrun by them. But anyways, we see the same issue with Alfred as well. His chin is super pronounced. But anyway, that's my biggest picky thing. That and the fact that Dick Grayson does not look like Dick Grayson. His facial structure has also changed, but it's purely because there's a different artist. There's a different illustrator. Dick Grayson has definitely taken up more of a
shaft approach.
What's the word I'm looking for? Edgy look in this. He's covered in belts. He's got black leather on. He's super dark.
We're not saying he's edgy, but if he went any further, it'd be an image book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty much. Yep. But we see in the book where Damian is trying to take him down because he killed Bruce, and he's all about revenge. That's kind of what this takes over. But it turns out Dick Grayson actually knew about Damian's little secret hideaway of heroes. And while Damian was attacking him, he ended up sending a team down to kill everybody down below, which they almost succeed. But Damian saves the day and ends up getting hurt really bad in the process. And Dick Grayson and Alfred actually end up talking. And he's like, well, Alfred, I actually want you to look after Damian. This is the last chance you'll ever get to see me and ever get to come at me. And he chose to give it up to save you. I want you to take care of the boy because he may be your last hope. So we see some kind of humanity left in Dick Grayson in this.
It's nice.
And so Alfred ends up giving Damian some of his blood and then taking him off into the distance. And that's kind of how the book ends. There's my biggest thing is just my biggest problem with this book all sums up to just it being a different artist. And it's just his artistic choice in this. There's a few panels that are wordy, but I read this after reading Fortress, so it wasn't nearly as bad.
So it wasn't wordy at all then, right?
It wasn't wordy at all, comparatively. I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10 for me, but it's not following the main storyline. This is a spinoff of the 7th issue. They took a brief hiatus, and the 7th issue is supposed to be coming out in the next couple months or so, if I read correctly. So
hashtag DC late. Just saying. Just saying. Josh, what was your take on this book?
Well, continuing with what Matthew said, it definitely was less wordy. Mm-hmm. I too read this after reading Batman Fortress, and so it was a breeze. The artwork on this really had more of a Teen Titans Go feel for me.
So you loved it then?
No,
being how much you love Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go!
Hey, I don't know. There was...
That's an inside joke. If you want to know, go check out older episodes.
I think people know.
You know, I do like the style
Teen
of
Titans.
Black
Yes,
Mask
we
on
know
this.
we like Teen Titans.
I said
Black Mask was cool. I agree.
I like Black
Mask
Mask in
cool.
this.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it's a one shot. I did find it interesting that with Dick Grayson's fetish outfit. He's got the red Nightwing logo on the front, but then when you see on the back, it'll actually be the blue.
Right.
Let me get to it here at the end.
Yep, right there.
Right there. Like that. Why choose the two? I don't understand. But all in all, the action sequence on this panel where Damien is just going stab happy.
No,
that was so much fun to read. It was
really
just
cool.
great.
I enjoyed this next one, the elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
The elevator one was great too. I mean, it shows
really well
how
done.
quick and agile Damien is.
And of course, his powers he's augmented, isn't he? Because he's a
vampire, so he's even more fast.
He's got the powers of a vampire mixed with the training of Ra's al Ghul. This page is what made the book entertaining for me. Other than that,
interesting. Okay, so before we take a break, we'll have a quick run through this for me. When I first looked at this book, I was very much of Matthew's frame of mind on this. The art's totally different from Otto Smith's. I love the Smith work on the book, the main book. So I really wanted to hate this book. But by the time I'd finished, I'd enjoyed it more than I really should have, considering it is just yet another you are both Batman's sons rhetoric, which is almost as used as many times as the parents getting shot. To be honest, it's like every single time. It's like, do the guys have nothing else to talk about at all? It's like, hey Bruce, how's your parents? Hey David, you know you're the real son. It's like every single time. I don't know. I also don't.
It'd be like Krypton exploding again.
Yeah. I'm not fully convinced that Damien has that level of compassion. If you're turned into a supernatural killer machine like a vampire, and you already have assassin training from the League of Shadows or the League of Assassins, then pretty much I'm betting my money that he's going to go stab Happy.
Well, he does have Alfred with him. That's the biggest.
No, Alfred, who's not dead but died. Amazing that. Another book with Alfred in.
And died in front of Damien. That scarred Damien more.
Yeah. But we did see in the previous issues that Alfred was still alive when they were leaving.
Yes, so, I know. My point is that for some reason, DC have decided to kill Alfred because it has an impact on Batman, and then every other alternative book, Alfred's around. It's like, what's the point? What is the point? The elevator pitch is my favorite part of this whole book. I had to double clutch when the guys were fighting on the ledge, and then they go into the room and there's a big TV on there. I'm like, wait a second, what's happened here? So I had to go back a few pages to realize that they'd walked through the room to get, and I was like, that really doesn't work well. From a background point of view, if you're moving through panels, you want to see that movement. It just seemed a little bit sudden, a shift for me. But no, as I said, like Matthew, I'm enjoying the main book. I'm disappointed to take an hiatus for a little bit, but for this one, I'd be quite happy to miss it, to be honest, because it has no impact one way or the other. Other than explain why Damien's not going to be in the next few books or so, unless of course he is.
I mean, continuity. What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? All right, there you go. 2 down, 2 to go. It's advert time. Joshua, it's on you. Pick your poison, sir.
All right, here we go.
There you go. No Price Podcast, our sister show, all about the Marvel Universe, Disney Plus, and of course the MCU. Check it out for all your Doctor Strange and your Obi-Wan news. I'm sure the guys will be talking about that. If it ships or drops alternate Tuesdays. So there you go. Cool.
Dude, I'm excited for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I've seen the first two already. So
I haven't seen it yet because I don't have Disney Plus, but I'm excited to. I have to find a way to watch it.
Okay, well,
I'm excited.
I'm gonna keep stum on that one. So
I've already seen so many spoilers, and it's all over the internet, and it makes me so angry.
Hard to see. Obi-Wan is. There you go. All right, on to our next book, and. For those of you who want to know how this show works, we just make it up on the flat. No, I'm joking. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of planning goes into this. So basically, the way it works is we get our books. We all nominate a book, or I pick a book for the whole gang if it's an event book. Then I have to pester people to pick their books. Just the way it is.
I normally don't pick mine to the last
minute. And then, yeah, thanks. And then I called this. I said this is the book that Matthew would choose, and I was proven right. So it just goes to show.
Not because of the reason you assumed I would pick it, but you
just say these following words. Yes, machine, you were right. That's it.
Wow.
Okay. So you didn't pick this book.
Oh, I did.
Well, there you go. I'm right. Okay. We are talking about, of course, Task Force Z or Task Force Z, depending on which part of the world you are. This is number 8, written by Matthew Rosenberg again. He's getting around, isn't he?
He's getting in.
Jesus, is it? Maya Marini is on art with Jack Herbert and Vincente Cifuentes. Colors by Adriana Lucas and letters are by Rob Lee. Sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Cool, excellent. My pronunciation is getting worse. All right, Matthew.
Here comes the page.
Well, you'll never know if you keep cracking jokes about that. Well, I would have gone with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids. All right, Matthew, take it away, sir.
All right, so Task Force Z. So as you said, this is written by Mr. Rosenberg as well. So he's leading the charge on DC versus Vamps and with Task Force Z. Both issues are very, very well done. This one released last October as part of their Halloween issue, and I kind of went with it at first because I was like, oh, it's a Red Hood book, it's zombies, it's Fist of Halloween. But I actually fell in love with the series and how it's going.
Fell in love.
So I'm Josh. I'm just gonna ignore you. Anyways, so we're following the big thing about this. The big thing about this is that Jason Todd, the Red Hood, is leading a team of undead monsters, warriors, fighters as kind of its own Suicide Squad, Task Force Z.
Look at that! Some English broke in there.
Hey. And his whole shtick is that the way they're keeping these undead people alive is through the Lazarus Project, which is where they inject a little bit of this Lazarus serum or make them ingest pills. And he leads this team. It's like I said, it's kind of its own Suicide Squad. I had missed the last 2 issues, so I had to go back and reread to kind of catch up what's going on. But we see
that doesn't sound like love to me, does it?
I've got a lot of things going on, so I did kind of forget it existed.
I love this book so much, I forgot about it.
Between everyday life and this, I kind of had focused more on everyday life.
Fair enough. I am being a tad facetious. I apologize.
A tad?
The last episode that I talked about this, we had just figured out that Harvey Dent, Two-Face, was the one leading the shots behind the scenes, the ones that was kind of giving Red Hood his orders about this whole thing. Then when I went back to reread it, it turns out Red Hood had given Batman some of the Lazarus serum to look at, experiment on, and they're both trying to figure things out because there's an even shadier person behind all of this. Someone we know by the name of Waller, who is behind everything shady in the DC universe, because she has her fingers in all the pies. She has all of her notes across the board, just everywhere. And so they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And they found out that Waller had 2 different teams working on the same thing. And now she's trying to essentially scrub both of them. And Harvey is trying to steal all the serum from the other side so that way he can get his powers, or his people alive and continue doing his whole thing. But it turns out there's another contestant, because there's a lot going on. The person who has been with Task Force Z the whole time, Mr. Bloom, is also running his own shtick, his own little gig. And he's betrayed them all, and he's stolen all the serum, which really sucks for Task Force Z because they are completely out, and they just waged war on the other side, the other group that I'm obviously forgetting the name of because it was a long name and it wasn't very memorable. It was just a different task force. It was just a different task force made up of similar, like KG Beast is on the other task force. It's I don't know, but now if they all die, they have no way to save themselves because they are out of the Lazarus formula. And so this whole episode, this whole issue is focused around Red Hood trying to distract Batman, because he's trying to distract him so he can sneak back into the Batcave and take his formula back so that way he can then provide his team with enough serum to essentially survive. But also throughout the panel, Powers International is the other group. Powers International is the other group. I just happened to see the other thing. All throughout this panel, we see Mr. Bloom running his own experiments because he's psychotic, and he's essentially torturing Kirk Langstrom, otherwise known as the Man-Bat, running like 6 different experiments at the same time, and he's going crazy. Jason Todd is just playing coy with Barbara and trying to steal the serum back, while Task Force Z is distracting Batman. There's a lot. So if you pick this issue up and hadn't read through anything, you really want it. That's the biggest downfall of this book right here. So, like I said, I had to go back to reread the issues that I had missed. And there's a lot going on that if you just pick this up off the shelf, it's like, what's going on? You want to know. You want to know. And that's the biggest downfall of this. Knowing, since I went back and read through the books that I missed, and I know what's going on, I enjoyed it. Cool. The artwork they're still killing it with the artwork. The being light and vibrant in their coloring, while still maintaining that dark essence. Like right here with Kirk Langstrom, we see his face discontorting. We see, was it this one? Yeah, this one, when he fully reversed. No, sorry, the last issue. They fully reversed the Man-Bat serum or physiology that was going on, and he was essentially a zombie, looking just like a zombie, but he is fully conscious and he's fully aware, and he's like, what's going on? Why do I look like this? And he's freaking out, while Mr. Bloom's like, oh, don't worry, I'll take good care of you. And just Mr. Bloom is going to be the main antagonist through all of this, in my opinion. It's going to cultivate into with him being the final boss, so to speak.
Cultivate. Good one. Like that. Cool. All right.
I was going for culminate, but cultivate worked as well. So
never a true word said.
Oh, sorry. I took cultivate a different way. Searching my library for 2 basic lands, put one on the battlefield, one in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. This issue will Kodama's reach into the That's a joke for you MTG fans.
Yep.
Oh my god. All right, okay.
Oh my god.
Lugs.
Lads. Orcs.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right,
I
cool.
enjoyed the book. 7 out of 10. Like I said, I've been really, really enjoying the series. But if you just pick this up off the shelf, you wouldn't know what's going on with it. The fact that Bane's back, Jason had re-killed Bane because Bane had, this one actually follows the continuity. Alfred is dead in this issue.
Is Bane actually in this book?
Bane makes like a side appearance. He's
right next.
but the fact that I had to say something because he's on the cover, he's playing dolls, and so he's back on the team, even though in the previous issue Jason had thrown him off a building, smashed him with the car, just completely decimated him, and they brought him back to life. But I do have to say, Johnny, earlier you're talking about continuity things really bothering you. Mm-hmm. This one does stay with the continuity. Alfred is dead with this one.
Yeah.
So.
And they're in the new cave rather than the old one. Yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Josh, what was your take on this? Good, thank you. Well said. You can tell you really like this book, even if you missed a few issues. All right, okay. Josh?
This one was all over the place for me. I'm with Matthew so with Amanda Waller, when are people going to figure out that she's the worst project manager on the planet? Every team that she puts together just flops, and she has to scrub everything. Like, I'm sorry, her track record is not that good. So why do we keep having Amanda Waller in this?
Good question.
I personally love how they designed Barbara in this, but I'm a sucker for redheads, so it's Barbara. I personally enjoyed the squabble between Nightwing and Red Hood.
Mm-hmm.
That whole part of it was just fun. Seeing Tim Drake in there, Batwoman in there. I did get a kick out of Jason giving him hell for not bringing the entire Bat. Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it Batgirl?
No, it's Batwoman.
Isn't it Cass?
Batwoman.
I was thinking it was Cass.
Yeah,
it's Cass.
Oh, it's Cass. Okay, my bad.
Which makes me laugh.
The Bat family is now growing even more. We need a flow chart at this point. And I still get a kick out of the fact that Red Hood's main weapon in here is a crowbar.
Which he makes a point of. They're all like, it's morbid that you're using crowbars. And he's like, the crowbar didn't kill me. It was a bomb.
True, but still. I find it humorous.
I find it humorous that during the fight they were like, you guys don't scare me, and then Cass appears and he's like, shit.
I don't understand. Yeah. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
I thought the artwork was great. I enjoyed it in this book. But aside from that, I would agree with Matthew. If you haven't read the previous issues and you're just picking this one up, you're going to be very confused as to what's going on.
All right. Okay.
And the machine was right.
Look, I never said he was wrong. I said that I did not pick it up for the reason he thought I would pick it up, because
you never asked me. You never asked me what the reason was.
You always allude to the fact that since I'm a Red Hood fan, as soon as his Red Hood book out, you're like, he's going to pick that one. Yeah, you do. You give me crap for it all the time.
I thought you would pick this book because you've picked the book in the past, and I know how much you like it. So that's what I was going with. It's got a Red Hood thing, and so what? Right, my shouts. Okay, if the Red Hood is this good that he can play Oracle, beat Nightwing, beat Robin, and beat Cass, then why doesn't he have his own book? Why isn't he Batman? That's right, because he isn't. This book is lazy writing. Jason Todd is not that good. He cannot take down all those members of the Bat family. He even says, oh shit, when Cass turns up, and then beats her. It's like, Cass, come on, really? All to prove a point. you know what? All to move the story along. Pass, forget it. If you want to try and make characters work, fine, make characters work. It doesn't mean you have to make all the other characters suddenly crap at what they do, which is essentially what happens in this book. Nightwing can't get out of the way of a train by himself. Robin gets his nose broken. Cass gets electrocuted, even though she knows fantastic body language. Come on, these characters are not stupid. These characters are successful at what they do. Red Hood cannot take all of them down. It's that simple. This book makes no sense. The best part of this book is Bloom and Langstrom. It's like the way Langstrom's like, no, he's really torturing me. No, it's 5 times. And Bloom's like, no, it's 6. He doesn't know about the parasite. That's great. That's funny. Yeah, that makes you think, ooh, yeah. But the rest of it, come on, really? If the Red Hood could be that good, why did he get killed in the first place?
And why does Jason always have to go back to the Lazarus pit? Why are they always having to...
it doesn't matter if he was a kid. The fact that he was written as a kid back then is absolutely the way it should have played. And even now, it's no way he can beat all those people. Not even close. Don't get me wrong, you can probably take out Tim, yeah, because he's right. Tim's the boring one. We can't beat Cass. No way.
No.
Batman can barely beat Cass. So, lazy writing. I'm really disappointed in Matthew Rosenberg. I really like his work on the DC Vampires book. And I loved his stuff on when he was on Uncanny X-Men, an unsung hero for that book, getting X-Men back up to where they needed to be before Hickman took over. But for me, nah, this Task Force Z, done.
Isn't it interesting where writers jump between characters or franchises and they knock it out of the park in one and completely bomb it in the other?
Yeah, I think that really alludes to certain writers matching certain characters. I mean, we talked about how much I love the Supergirl book by Tom King, and yet we whinge that Batman Catwoman's going nowhere. You know, so you know, how can Tom King drop something as good as the Vision miniseries, and then the Mr. Miracle one after that, then Supergirl, and then suck so bad on Batman Catwoman? It's odd. It's a very odd thing.
Yeah.
There you go. Rant over. Hey, it's my turn. And I can see Matthew looking there thinking, right, I'm going to rant at this book now. Just you wait. I can see.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll let you off there. I'll let you off. All right, here we go. I've been
talking a lot this episode. I've been talking a lot. So
No. Made valid points. Here we go. This is Detective Comics 1060. This is my choice. I picked this book purely for the fact that it's fantastic. It's written by Mariko Tamaki and Nadia Shamas. Art by Ivan Reese, or Reyes, depending on how you pronounce it. Inks by Danny Mickey. Colors by Brad Anderson. Letters by Ariana Mayer. Check it out. There you go. Who'd have thunk that Dum Dum Duggan was going to be in the DC universe? And everyone's like, who is Dum Dum Duggan? You must remember Dum Dum, surely. He's one of the Howland Commandos. And in case you're wondering who that is, there you go. That's him there. There you go. From the Captain America movie. So there you go. Dum Dum Duggan is in the DC universe.
So we got Dum Dum Duggan and Judge Death in the DC universe.
Pretty much how it works. This is a continuation of the last issue, I should say. We're finding out there are more civilian killers. Before we get into the story, does anybody notice that Jessica Cruz is in the Dark Crisis advert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's a yellow lad. I don't know why they've got her in green. Don't know, but hey ho. Hopefully they bring her back to the fold. So here we go. So Bruce is on a date with young Caroline. I want to say Caroline. It could look like Rachel from the Year 2 book. We're around Detective 575. That's Rachel Caspian, which was the precursor to Andrea Beaumont from The Mask of the Phantasm. So,
well, your first guess was right. It was Caroline.
I know it's Caroline. I'm saying she looks like Rachel Caspian. Okay. And for my point, glad you mentioned that. Because I have done my homework on this. Who'd have thunk it? And there you go from Detective
Johnny
5.
doing homework?
Yeah, no. From Detective 575.
Yep.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Go. What's that?
Rachel!
Machine you write? Rachel! What's that? Machine you write again? All right, okay, cool.
I have yet to say it. I just said fair enough.
Tickety-boo, Matthew. Tickety-boo. I love this book. I'm not going to say a lot about it, primarily because the art rocks, the story rocks. It's a detective story. We have lots of stuff going on. Really nice panel coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, there you go. Look at that panel. Yeah. Nice little Batman Dark Knight look there as he's doing his fly glidey stuff. Mm-hmm. If there's anything that I would say about this art is that it is a little bit homagey in places. So you've got the aforementioned Dum Dum Duggan, you've got the Alan Davis look for Rachel. If you look at some of the faces and some of the body lines of the characters, you can see some Greg Capullo in there. So I think it's kind of like a mix of different things.
A little bit of Jim Lee in there too.
Yeah, definitely. But for me, this book absolutely rocks. This is what Detective Comics should be about. It is purely for this. It looks great. It looks great. It reads great. It reads proper, like a proper Batman comic book should be. No bells, no whistles. Taking it down to the deconstruction of a good detective story. You do get a backup in this. You get the Gotham Girl Interrupted continuation there. Who killed her drama teacher? It's up to you to find out. To be fair, the main pull of this is this fantastic art. So there you go. That's my 2 cents. Josh, would you like to take it from there, please?
I love the art in this. It was bang on, fantastic. I like this style of Riddler. I mean, Dum Dum Dugan. And I'd be fine with them continuing this style for Riddler. Just continue the Batman Who Laughs. I mean, Judge Death, but we can keep this Riddler. I also like the fact that we also see that Batman has multiple areas throughout the city where he's able to do his detective work. I mean, the garage, which is like a micro bat cave, I thought was great.
Good call.
It just shows how much he is planned ahead. He's not always running, to the outskirts of Gotham to head to the Batcave. He has multiple locations throughout the city.
Yeah, good shout.
I like the conversation between him and Talia.
Oh yes, that's a good shout.
Where's that at? You really can't. There's just something about the conversations that they have with each other.
Yeah.
Batman trying to be his interrogating in interrogation mode, but deep down inside, you can tell Talia's got him wrapped around her finger.
Yeah, pretty much. Good shout. Good shout.
Yeah. So that whole scene was just fun to read, and them being co-parents.
It's funny because we looked at the first book, the Batman Fortress book, and there's lots of stuff going on in that. This book shows how you can have different storylines going on and how best to pull them, entwine them, rather than just throw everything at the wall and hope it sticks. At least for me.
That was the point that I was going to make.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay, cool.
You said it correctly. This is how you do that whole shtick of having multiple storylines going at once, but not feel like it's all shoved in there. It's just slight allusions to each different story as it goes through the book.
Cool. Go on, Matthew.
I ended up picking up the first issue of this. So we ended up reading the first issue, and we were kind of alluded to the fact that Caroline was going to be kind of shady. You know, she was in the hospital, and so we could sense there was a spark going on between her and Bruce about them reconnecting, but there was also some signs that, you know, she wasn't totally on the side of justice and good. And so the fact that she ends up getting one of these letters, we could see that coming. But it was still really well done how they did it.
It's like, go on. Sorry.
I really enjoyed that. I'm with kind of what Josh had said. This, or you and Josh both said it. This is how a detective comic should read. For those out there who played like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, that's what this reminds me of. It still has that dark and grittiness to it, but it's focused purely on Batman solving the puzzle, putting clues together, which is something that I absolutely love about Batman. That's my favorite aspect about Batman, is that he's the world's greatest detective for a reason. It's not always about him fighting people and doing good versus evil stuff.
It's always about the Joker.
Or always about the Joker. I know. So the fact that they're using the Riddler in this makes me so happy. So happy, because we haven't seen a good story with Edward Nigma in a while.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
It's really, really well done. My biggest complaint is, and it's something that, you know, all artists struggle with, is that hands. If you've ever tried to draw hands, it's really difficult. So if you look at the opening, like the cover of the book, if you go back to the cover of the book, it looks like Batman's fingers are broken with how two of them are facing this way and then two of them are facing this way.
Yeah.
It looks more like a claw than a hand.
Yeah.
But like I said, hands are...
Are you sure that's not Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget?
Maybe. It'd be weird if he was making an appearance in this. And then didn't make
Johnny's
an
shaking. Johnny's shaking his head in disappointment over my comments.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
But as we see through the story, we're getting closer and closer to finding the puzzle that the Riddler is putting forth. You know, when is a murderer not a murderer? It's the same resounding question that's been playing through since the last issue. And we also get to see some of the compassion that he's not just Batman, he's also human, as in with the conversation he was holding with Talia.
Yeah.
It's just really well written. Really well drawn.
Yeah.
Good story.
For me, I think some of the quieter moments in the book work as well as the big moments. If you look at this panel we're looking at now, you've got Bruce, charming Bruce, doing his smiley thing. And then at the end, when he's like, right, I'm done with the date, move on, you can see he's got his bat face going on right there.
Immediately switches to Batman.
Yeah, it's really good. I absolutely love this book. And I think I've liked Mariko Tamaki since she was on the Supergirl being human book a while back. So there you go. Cool. There you go. 4 up, 4 down. What a week. Yeah. Yes, Matthew, we can see you. It's all
I know. There's a reason I didn't say it. I just did it.
That's fine. What the hell? I thought Shawn Michaels would have been your favorite wrestler. What with his sweet?
Although technically John Cena does the 5. It's the full hand.
Can I tell my punchline? Can I tell my
punchline? No.
I would have thought Shawn Michaels would have been your favorite wrestler. What with his sweet chin music? There you go.
Oh. And that's the bottom line because the machine said so.
Was that Roddy Piper? I think it was at one point.
No,
Stone
Cold.
Was it? Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold.
I dropped out when Bret Hart left. So there you go. That's my
yeah, Survivor Series '97.
Yeah, something. So when he left, I was like, done. Next
in Montreal, the Montreal screw job.
Oh yeah, yeah. Funny enough, against Shawn Michaels. All right, okay. So
listeners, viewers, they keep bullying me. Do something about it.
Hey, just be lucky you don't end up like Langstrom. That's all I'm saying.
True. Fair enough. I don't have a parasite that I know of.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
And on that note, all right, guys, thank you very much, Josh, for spending the time. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Matthew, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
I think I'm being nice. Don't forget to check out the UCPM for all your other favorite parasites. I mean, podcasts, including Matthew.
Sorry, you've thrown me off.
Sorry, man.
The other show that I'm on is called The Thing. I'm done.
Jank Think Tank.
Goodbye. See ya. It's the Jank Think Tank, where we discuss Magic the Gathering, your favorite cards, combos, and even do gameplay every now and then.
Cool, Josh.
You can see that fellow on there as well.
Yep. We've also got Flipside Focus, which you're going to want to be on the lookout for. We've got a special guest coming up on our next episode, and a special, maybe advance notice, breaking news, if you will. A previous special guest that we have had on the show is going to be bringing up a new Kickstarter. This is our friend who's created Morgan's Organs. Book number 4 will be coming out June 17th by Daniel Brody. So I'm a huge fan of this book, and I have been since the beginning. So big news. I'm excited.
Cool.
I like Morgan's Organs, so there you go. But yeah, Flipside Focus, that's where you'll get all of your independent comic news.
And of course, if you want to know more about Detective Comics 575 and any book that's older than 25 years, you can always check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old, regardless of what Matthew and Freyja say, but the comics most certainly are. There you go. We're all done. I've been your host, Joining the Machine Hughes, and as always, adios.
Hasta la pasta.